we're just sitting here kibitzing and going back and forth and throwing papers back and forth and getting ready to go. And then suddenly, as I hit the intro, the Maz goes, "Oh, am I in the frame? Am I in the frame?" Dude, you are so all up in the frame. Your head is even bigger than mine is right now. Right. I will adjust your picture as we go back and forth here. But welcome to another edition. Is this episode 30? Is this our 30th show?
It's close. I think it's 29 or 30.
29 or 30? So, and we must be having fun because time has flown. Because I lost track of the numbers. I've got to number them as such. And if you guys are wondering why I'm not paying attention to you, I'm making adjustments as we go on the fly here because I want to get the rest of the Maz's head in the actual shot. All right. And still sawing off the top of your head. You were looking like me in the pre-tape that I did last night, and I've got to edit that too. So we got a lot to get to. But first and foremost, I want to tell you that I'm going to go now. Okay, I'm not going to do the show because I heard that Larry's Fantasy Loser podcast, their host now gets $15 an hour. Whoa. Okay, they get minimum wage. I'm getting shit out of this, and we all know how short a podcaster career is. So I'm going to go until I can get more money. Okay, so you go ahead and handle the show. I'm just going to go.
Okay, I'll stay here.
Okay, even though we had a deal that I'm supposed to be here and I'm supposed to work under these conditions, I'm going to go.
I don't need to get paid.
I mean, because if guys like Stephon Diggs can do it, and if players can hold out with 2 years on their contract, if Melvin Gordon can hold out and not come in, then why should I? I mean,
well, wait, you're not.
What I do is valuable.
But you're not a millennial. You can't act like this.
But that's how they're making money, though.
Oh, I know, but it's not the right way.
That's how they're negotiating.
The NFL's in a little bit of trouble if they think that this is going to be the new of the NFL, where guys can be unhappy in their jobs, throw a tantrum, piss off an owner, and demand a trade.
Yeah, because it's understandable if you're at the end of your contract, the fourth year of your contract, and you've been to the Pro Bowl 3 times. You've been to the Pro Bowl twice, once even, whatever. You've been declared All-Pro all 3 years. Okay, like Ezekiel Elliott. Ezekiel Elliott had a beef. He had a beef. He had a legit gripe. I mean, he really did. He was killing it. And is still killing it.
What about the players that don't perform to their contract? Are they supposed to give the money back?
Right.
I mean, is this how this works now? Is this going to be the new again, where we have agreements where, hey, listen, I'm going to pay you X amount. If you exceed, we'll give you a little more. If you don't exceed your contract, we'll take back a few dollars. I mean, how are we going to set this up moving forward?
What I would like to see now, there's a new CBA coming, okay, and everybody's wringing their hands. Oh, there's going to be a work stoppage, and honestly, the work stoppage is both sides' fault. Okay, I mean, we all know that the owners, being billionaires, they're greedy. I mean, you ever notice that really, really rich people are really, really greedy? Good, they're really greedy.
That's
they
probably
money.
how they got to be in that position. Yeah, that's how they got to be
there. Yeah. See?
Wow. I didn't know she was even under the table. Come here. I got something.
We're being listened to.
Tell her to go get me a cup of coffee.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't. At any time did I say that?
But you know what I can't understand?
Goes to the machine. Here, you go. I'm going to go deal with this beast.
What is going on right now in the NFL? The owners have to get a handle on this. Obviously, it's still an owner league. It's not a player league yet, like the NBA, but it's on its way. The owners and this new agreement coming up. It's hard for me to believe there's going to be a work stoppage because nobody wants to walk away from the money that's being made right now because both sides are making a fortune. So, granted, the greed is playing into this a little bit. Like you said, some of the players are not happy. They want to get more money, but they're not going to walk away from everything.
It's a sense of entitlement. It's that millennial sense of entitlement.
Yeah, it's really gross.
We assign generational titles, names and titles to different generations.
Agreed.
Generation X was like this, and Generation Y was like that.
Started with the baby boomers, and then you had us, and whatever. Right?
And the yippies and the hippies.
But you know what? How do we get the message across so that we don't sound like our parents, I guess we can say?
Get off my goddamn lawn.
Because this is, clearly, when you get to a certain point in life, you mature, you get some experience, you know a little bit between what's right and what's wrong, and you can clearly see that some of these decisions are not the right decisions. But how do you get that across to these players? How does the league come out and say, okay, listen, stop, draw a line in the sand. This is what we're going to do. I think the Diggs thing was a good thing right there. Finding him, what, 200,000? To whatever
Diggs,
shenanigans that he's going through.
That's breaking news. We have breaking news.
Yeah.
Stephon Diggs was fined by the Minnesota Vikings $200K for walking out like a baby.
Missed a meeting, missed a practice, whatever it was, threw his tantrum. But you know what, though? He's playing today. It seems like they got things right. So apparently ownership sat him down.
They're paying him, what, $12 million this year?
I mean, it's insanity.
The dude got a premium contract. He's like a top 3 or top 4. He's like the 3rd or 4th highest paid wide receiver in the NFL.
I think his situation was more his situation was more the fact of him looking at the quarterback making 3 times what he's making and not being able to perform. I mean, it's not good right now in Minnesota.
Check the stands, though. Yeah. Any time that I hear a player complain about how much more the quarterback makes than any other player on the team.
Right.
Okay.
Well, you should make it.
Yeah, because check the stands. Look up in the stands. And it's no matter whether it's in Foxborough or it's down here or wherever, check the stands. You're going to see the quarterback number. And here in South Florida, it's about 15 different guys' numbers, but still, I mean, you're going to see the quarterback.
The quarterback's the face of the franchise. It's just unfortunately in this situation, he has been playing well, and a lot of people are just they're not too happy about the contract he got. And
that's going to make Minnesota one of the teams that's going to be competing with the Dolphins in the quarterback market next year.
Maybe, but they bit off a pretty good chunk.
Oh, they would be crazy. Listen, they would be crazy too because, okay, Cousins is coming to the 3rd year of his contract. Mm-hmm. It's year 3. Okay, and they're just going to gut it out. They're going to pay him. They're going to start him. They're going to, but in this instance, they're going to go get a young guy to put behind him.
A lot of the younger quarterbacks coming out now are really good. I mean, if you look across the landscape of the league, they're better prepared. They're running all these pro-style offenses. They're coming into the league. They're smart. They're athletic. You can throw away all those old stereotypes about the black quarterbacks and not being able to read the defenses and whatever other bullshit that was out there.
I'm just worried about the Polish quarterbacks now.
But what I'm saying is that all those bullshit things that were out there for all those years,
like Carson Wentz,
if you can play the position, if you're athletic, then it's a plus now. It's not a negative. It's a plus that you have mobility and you can scramble and get out of the pocket, and you can even the read option is a big part of many offenses now. So you want athletic, strong, quarterbacks that can handle a hit and can move the football.
Right. Well, so you look at a kid like Josh Rosen who came out of UCLA and he learned how to be mobile in Arizona. He learned how to run for his life in Arizona.
Certainly.
And it shows in his progress here as his first 2 starts. He's learning to feel the rush better. He's still kind of taking off on phantom pressure sometimes, but he's climbing the pocket. He's moving. He's not standing back there and going through his progressions and then wondering if he left the toaster on, or left the dryer on. He's going through his progressions, and if he feels it, he runs. And it's important now. It's important.
There's so much science in the game now, so much film study and tape and analysis that it seems like if that the guys are putting in the time, then they're going to get the results. And you see a little bit with Winston this year. I watched a little bit of something this morning on him and how he seems to be reading defenses better. He's checking down second read, third read, stuff like that, which wasn't part of his game. So again, a lot of young quarterbacks in the league. You're probably right about the fact that they may be looking for somebody next year in Minnesota, if anything, just to have somebody in the organization that they can build around, for the future.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't appear that they...
It would be stupid if they didn't.
Yeah, there's a lot. And next year, what is there, 6 or 7 potential first-round quarterbacks coming out? So there's a lot.
Well, I wouldn't say 7 first-rounders.
First or second, maybe?
Right. I mean, there's always a market for young quarterbacks, okay? I will say this, in a heavier need market, you might get 7 of these quarterbacks in the first round. But I think what you're going to see is there's not a heavy need market. There's going to be 4 teams that are going to be looking for quarterbacks, possibly 5, counting Minnesota, if they were smart. There's going to be at least 4 teams looking for quarterbacks, Miami Dolphins being chiefly amongst them. Right. Okay. Which is the reason why I say that they should wait until the end, until their last pick in the second round, which is probably going to be in the teens, and they wait and they pick one of the second-tier guys. Okay, now first tier, everybody seems to be in love with all the three first tier guys, which are Tua Tagovailoa,
Him too, yeah. The kid from Clemson.
He had it. Yeah, no, that's not. That's 2021. Trevor Lawrence
he's a freshman, isn't he? Right now,
he's a sophomore.
But he's not coming out next year. No chance.
He's a sophomore, and he only shaves once a week. I fucking hate
he's like
him.
20 years old, but there's no kids coming out.
I love him to death, but he's now he's starting. He has to mature now. Okay, he caught everybody by surprise with his arm strength and his quick release and his ability to go through progressions.
Reminds me of Sunshine from Remember the Titans. Yeah,
right.
Can throw the ball a mile, but can't pitch it 3 feet.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
That type of thing. Remember?
So what's happening this year is that teams are learning to game their coverages a little better. They're learning to put a little more heat on him, and his numbers are down a little. But it's also he's learning. He's catching up to that because everybody's catching up to him, and that's fine. But enough of Trevor Lawrence. That's 2021. The top tier quarterbacks, they all seem to agree, is Tua, Herbert, and Fromm for some strange reason. And then, of course, I saw about a half of the Georgia-Tennessee game. Oh, that's why Fromm. He's one of those guys. It's just
prototypical looking.
Right out of the shotgun, boom, set your feet, give. There's no more 7-step drop timing type of shit. There's no more of that. It's it's done.
Everything is all pre-read, pre-snap. Get it out of your hands.
2 seconds.
Yeah.
You got 2 seconds.
Yeah.
That things have gotten to the point now with the pass rushes and the defensive blitzes and all of that. Defenses have gotten intricate enough and fast enough and athletic enough to where if the quarterback thinks he's going to, if Dan Marino thought he was going to pull a 7-step drop set up or a 12-step drop set up, okay, by the time he got to the 8th step, he would already have today's pass rusher in his grill.
Yeah.
Okay, it's over. They've gotten faster, so they've learned how to mitigate it.
Yeah, I saw a number just in reference to what you said about the timing for how much time you have. I saw something where I think Rodgers is second or third in the league at about 2.3 seconds to get rid of the football.
Yep.
So you're right; it's not much time at all.
Yep. Now, can you imagine if Dan Marino or John Elway or even Steve Young played in today's NFL?
Yeah. Well, Steve Young would have a better advantage. He was mobile, so Steve Young got around. But the other guys would have to be very quick with the football.
Elway was quick.
Well, they both had quick releases. Marino,
and Elway could run. Elway could
early
run.
in his career. Yeah.
Marino not so much.
No.
Oh, it's like, what is all that squeaking and clanking I hear? That's his fucking knee braces going squeak clank as he tries to run 2 miles an hour.
He wasn't very mobile.
But he's also a guy, though, if you talk about a 2-second release, that's a guy who probably gets you off at 1.9.
Oh, I'm sure of it, yeah.
1.9.
Yeah.
And we're talking 15, 20 yards down the field.
Yeah.
Quick. So it's now a situation where you have these second-tier quarterbacks. After you have the big three, now you're getting into Jalen Hurts, the guy who Tua replaced. Justin Fields, the guy who Fromm replaced. You can even go with Eason, the kid out in Washington. Also another one that Fromm beat out for the job at Georgia. Georgia had those 3 kids on the same roster.
Isn't that incredible? Yeah.
2 years ago. So all 3 of those kids. 3 5-star recruits. So let's hear for Kirby Smart and his recruiting ability. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, well, Georgia's been on the scene the last several years, so they're definitely a good program.
Yeah, well, Kirby Smart, man. I mean, you want to know why FSU took such a hard dip is because Kirby Smart left the program and went on to other things.
That's when you see the value.
And went to Alabama and then went from Alabama to Georgia, and it's. But anyway, I digress. The second tier being these guys like Justin Fields and Jalen Hurts and Joe Burrows at LSU. And right now the kid's name escapes me, but the quarterback for Utah is now being spoken about in those terms of that second tier of quarterbacks. A ton of great young quarterbacks coming out, and if I was a quarterback over the age of 30 in the NFL, I would be worried hard.
Yeah, unless you're Tom Brady. Yeah.
Well, I mean, unless you're the proven starter. Yeah. But okay, now that we've jibber-jabbered about the prospects of the future and what's coming up, we actually have some prepared material.
We do. I have some in-depth.
Well, before you get to that, let's drop back to Thursday Night Football.
Okay.
Quite an epic struggle between the Seattle Seahawks and the Los Angeles Rams.
Could Russell Wilson be perhaps the most underrated athlete in all of sports right now? I mean, doing so much. First of all,
he was the most dangerous highlight marker I've ever seen in my life on Thursday night. Those those color fast uniforms are like, those are 22nd century shit. That's great.
No receivers.
Wait now. He has receivers.
Tyler Lockett. Okay, but what I'm saying is
DK
that
Metcalf.
when you're come on,
Young
big
man
names.
got a touchdown.
All right, but I'm talking about over the years, big names, not on their roster. I mean, receiver wise, losing Baldwin to retirement, you would think that again, bad offensive line over the years. Seattle was known for their defense. I argue Russell Wilson's been the rock of that franchise since he's gotten there.
Well, listen. What I've always said is that an excellent player is one that also elevates everybody's play around him.
Yes.
Look at Will Dissly.
Who's
Will Dissly?
He was a blocking tight end in college. He had 12 receptions in his senior year or junior, whenever he came out senior year.
He had 12 receptions. He had 12 receptions this last game.
I know, it's incredible. Yeah. So again, what Russell Wilson's doing, it's just incredible.
Elevating the play.
Incredible. He is, to me, is my favorite quarterback in the NFL. So.
Yeah, I have to. Well, I'm going to agree with you there that he's one of my favorites, and he put on a display Thursday night. He willed that team to victory.
Yeah.
In spite of the fact that it was a missed field goal that was probably the determining factor at the end of the game.
You know what's incredible too about that team is they are clearly a run first team. All the sabermetrics suggest that. Still dinosaurs like, because we talked about this year.
They run on first down like 83% of the time.
It's high. I don't know if it's that high, but it's high.
Way up there.
It's higher. It's highest than the rest of the league. But when most of the teams now are getting away from the pound and ground game and they're trying to throw the football on first down, they do it, but just not. They're towards the bottom of the league. But regardless of all that, Russell Wilson is still a beast, and he's still throwing touchdown passes. And they're doing it with little, at least on paper. Now, Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf, Carson, despite a few fumble issues, he's been doing really well. So what's interesting about that game so much, let's look at the Rams side. Jared Goff this year, I don't think the Rams are the same team that they were last year. He's thrown the second most passes of any quarterback in the league this year. So that doesn't bode well for guys like Gurley and maybe Henderson on the backside, that you would think if those guys were good and the offensive line was playing like they would.
It's a sign that they've been playing from a deficit like every game.
Gurley, he's got his 2 touchdowns last week. I think he had 53 yards on 14 touches. Okay, yeah, numbers-wise, he got his 2 touchdowns, but he's not getting 2 touchdowns every week. And if he's a 15-touch guy, there's an issue still there with Gurley. I know everybody's been saying, he's healthy and he looks great in camp. And well, then why aren't they running the football? Why aren't they getting him the football? And why aren't they more consistent? Why is Goff throwing the ball?
Load management.
I know, but they're not winning. I mean, were they 3-1? I think they're.
Listen, that's enough winning. They want to get. Listen, we know that Gurley is a special player, and I think what we're seeing here, the philosophy is they want to get Gurley to the playoffs. They want to have a healthy Todd Gurley get the playoffs, and then they're going to let him carry the ball 25 times.
Their offensive line is a mess, and
it is. Saffold's 100 years old.
Yeah, and they are Pro Football Focus has them ranked, I think, 26th this year. And last year they were like 3rd or 4th, I think, by year's end. So I mean, a complete drop off for the offensive line. Now injuries, I guess, other things too, but I don't know. There's something, to me. It seems like there's just something missing. It's like McVay came on the scene with the Rams and Goff and the spread offense, and they were going back to how they used to be the greatest show on turf with Warner and Holt and all those guys. They got lots of weapons, but it's like the chink in the armor this year. Something happened, and I'm not quite sure what it is, so we'll see. So Seattle was a better team that night. They were at home. Russell Wilson, to me, top 2 quarterback in football. Seattle won the game, and a very, very good football team.
I think what we saw is an excellent back and forth.
Yeah.
Because the first half, the Seattle defense took over and stymied and stifled and confused the LA offense. And it was quite a display. I really enjoyed it. It was very interesting. I was working at the time, so I was kind of watching like a monkey in a sidecar.
Yeah, we both were.
And, hey, did you see that? Hey, did you see? And you kept coming over and saying, Seattle wins this thing by 2 scores. Two touchdowns.
Yep.
Okay, 2 scores. Okay, shit. It kept evolving every time you come over, but that's okay. That's the way football goes.
I mean, it's tough to pick the games now. It seems.
Well, I've jumped on the chat room here. Okay, to check things out. First of all, hi Carl.
Hey Carl, what's up,
Carl
buddy?
writes here.
Miss you, pal.
We are now officially international because we have HT Mole. On in the house and in the chat room, and that's coming to us live from Jerusalem, Israel.
Nice.
Yes, the Israelis love us. Also,
bring football to Israel.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Iris Donitz, Iris, love you. That's like my sister from another mother.
Hi, Iris.
And of course Michael J, who is all along. You guys are lifers. You're never going anywhere. You're with us forever now.
You're stuck
forever.
Yeah.
So I hope we never go to a network that you don't like. because you're going to still have to watch us. So thanks for coming along for the ride. Thanks for being here. But Carl has a question.
Shoot, Carl.
And this is one that's kind of near and dear to me because Devontae Adams is out.
Oh, he is.
Turf toe out.
Yes.
And for those of us who have had turf toe, it is unpleasant. And it lasts for weeks and weeks and weeks.
Yes.
And I hope he feels better. But Devontae Adams is out, and Carl wants to know if we can replace him with Golden Tate, Jarvis Landry, or Emmanuel Sanders. So Tate, Juice.
Here's what I heard about Tate.
Emmanuel.
They're going to put him right in the offense today. And some of the experts that I saw, they had suggested that 80% snap share today. So on the field, ready to go.
Danny Dimes is going to love him.
But this is the thing. I'd rather see it happen first before I try and predict it to happen.
Right.
Because, again, even though the Giants have been good, playing Minnesota today, that's a buzzsaw.
Well, still, here's a factor, though. Here's a factor that you can rely on, and that is that Golden Tate, the type of player that he is, I'm not reaching on the floor. What do you come in? We just got guru'd for some strange reason. He dropped a piece of paper off and went running.
I'm reading it right now. Yeah.
But Golden Tate is a precise route runner. For a young quarterback, that means a lot because if he goes through his progression and he decides, okay, I'm going to throw to the spot and have faith that my guy is going to be there, he's going to find Golden Tate's going to be there a lot if you throw to that spot.
But there's a timing issue, though, too.
Yeah, they need to practice.
Guys that haven't worked together yet. So you can't just go – to me, there's just a few question marks that I don't have enough confidence to put him in the lineup. Who are the other two again?
We're looking at Jarvis Landry or Emmanuel Sanders.
To me, it's Jarvis Landry.
Yeah, on Monday night against San Francisco.
Yeah, to me, it's Jarvis Landry. Even though
you can't put Richard Sherman on everybody.
Well, I mean, who's going to cover Odell? So obviously, if Odell's going to draw the one on the defensive side, Jarvis Landry in the slot, he's still getting his target share. To me, even though I think San Francisco is everybody's touting the defense, I think Cleveland, even though I'm not a Cleveland guy, I think got a shot to go in there and win. So if they do, if that game script plays out, then to me, it's Jarvis Landry. Today is the start.
The Brooklyn Monster has entered the game.
Yes.
Okay, so there you go. Go Odell.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of Odell too. Me, I have to replace Odell. I have to replace Marlon Mack with Odell because Mack is questionable, and it pains me because he's going up against Kansas City Chiefs, which have
neither team can stop.
Which has a room temperature butter type defense.
Yeah, neither team can stop.
The only way they're going to stop you is if you accidentally slip in it. So honestly, it's I hate to say it because they've made improvements. They brought in more players, and they brought in a better defensive coordinator, and they still can't stop anybody.
You know what it is, though? When you can hang 40 at any point, I don't think they're so much worried about the defense.
Right. Well, there's two schools of thought in football. That is that if your offense is really good or your offense is really bad, you don't control the clock. So if you're going to come out there and score in 4 plays, then your defense is on the field all day.
I understand that totally, yeah.
All day, whether you suck or you're really good.
I'll go back to this as well because, again, maybe I overstepped in terms of how important the defense is. If you remember last year when the Rams and the Chiefs got together, that line was 62? It was ridiculous between those two teams, 57, 58, because both teams prolifically offensively were destroying everybody. But when both teams went and played the Patriots, the Patriots held both teams scoreless through the first half. So it's the old argument. Who wins championships? Defense wins championships? Is it 3 yards in a cloud of dust that we've been kind of getting away from? Or is it now pretty much these high prolific type offenses? To me, I think it's still a little bit of defense. And if you can kind of
It's even bend, don't break. It is. It's bend, don't break defense.
Steelers had that for many years.
Right.
But obviously points wins games. So if you're giving up a bunch of field goals, it's going to be tough to win. But to me, defense, I think, still has a little bit of the edge, especially in the bigger games. Because remember, as you get later in the season, the weather changes. So now you have weather that comes into play. You have wind. You have perhaps snow and rain, other factors like that. So
we're in South Florida. It's going to sprinkle.
Well, I'm not here, but you got teams like New England that you have to go to Foxborough in December when it's 20 degrees and snow.
Believe me,
advantage New England. Okay, over the Rams.
I never saw I never really saw the attraction of having a big, cold, snowy game. Everybody talks about the frozen tundra and all that, and I see these pictures of the old, the old ice bowl and everything, and I'm like, I wouldn't be there.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't be there either.
No.
Although I did go to the AFC Championship game in 2005 in Pittsburgh, where the game temperature was 12 degrees at kickoff.
No.
It was so cold.
That's not football weather.
No, I don't know what it was like. I don't know what it was, but it was cold, and we lost. Patriots, of course.
Dude,
so.
I played sandlot football. Okay, one time, and this is the only time I ever played football when it was cold. All right, I played sandlot football with my friends and my brother and whatnot. It had to be low 50s, 52, 53 degrees. It was still early in the morning. We got out there like 9 o'clock on a Sunday morning. And it was cool. The overnight temperature was in the 40s. So the sun was up and it was, a little warmer and everything, but it was still cold. And we immediately all got down to T-shirts playing because we're running around sweating like assholes. I believe I got a head cold from that game. But the first time and I was playing quarterback, and the first time somebody came at me and rushed at me, and I used to like to do the pump fake and then duck them, slide up in the pocket and throw the ball. And somebody ran by me and went, bam, on my chest, my cold chest. And the game was over for me at that juncture. I was like, I went, I threw the ball like a 4-year-old girl, like, get it away from me. Ow. That shit hurt.
Yeah, it's cool.
I'm talking, dude, I was like, I don't know, 19, 20. I thought I was 10 feet tall and bulletproof, but it was just like, it was so bad.
And that's only 50 degrees.
And that's only 50 degrees. I cannot imagine what it's like. And it's like 12 degrees.
And you see these guys go out there in short sleeves and everything else like they're supposed to.
Okay, you're tough. Listen, I've been outside in like 25, 30 degrees in a short sleeve T-shirt. And okay, if the wind's not blowing, you can hang out there for a few minutes. But not these skin tight wicking, up around the arms, really, like second skin, and you're out there like, it's 31 degrees. I'm like, you're cold as fuck. Yes. You're posing for the camera, and 5 seconds after that camera's off, you are underneath your hoodie. Believe me, it's a bunch of crap. So okay, and besides, those guys in the stands that are just wearing nothing but paint in 25-degree weather.
Insanity.
Yeah, well, they're really drunk.
Yeah.
Okay, they have antifreeze in their veins, so they're nuts. So, okay, so what do you got for us?
Just a few game analysis today, a couple of games we can spotlight.
My chest still hurts.
You hit it pretty hard. I felt that over here. Buck Saints. That's a good one today. Everybody's high on Jameis. Big game last week. Waiting for the offense to get going.
You're waiting for him to have another 4-interception game.
Well, here's the thing about this game. I just think in terms of the Saints side, if anything, I may be pro Tampa today, even though it's in New Orleans, because Tampa's number one rush defense in football. And clearly, without Breeze, New Orleans' offense is not the same. Teddy Bridgewater, I think he's thrown maybe 4 passes past the line of scrimmage so far since he's been in the offense here in the last few weeks.
Today, they get exposed.
Perhaps. To me, I think that game goes under the total, only because the Saints are going to have to play defense in order to stay in this football game. And Tampa Bay, again, as good as they looked last week, that's another team that you just don't know what you're going to get, mainly because of Winston from week to week. They did spotlight him, though, in terms of looking like he's getting through his progressions better than he ever has.
Oh, yeah.
He's not just, pre-read, first guy Evans, find a guy, throw it to him, double coverage type stuff. Ronald Jones running the football a little bit now. Maybe they're starting to turn the corner. So we'll see. Today's a big game.
I have always emphasized this about Jameis Winston, okay? He may say dumb shit. He may do dumb shit. But he is not a dumb shit.
I agree with that 100%.
Okay, he is a smart dude.
I agree.
He's highly intelligent. I believe that his heart at times is in the right place. I think he's a fantastic leader. The only problem is that occasionally just he says and does dumb shit.
He goes Florida State on you.
Yeah, well, he goes North Florida on you. Let's call that North Florida. Call it what it is.
Remember the story where he got caught shoplifting when he was in college or some crap?
Crab legs.
I mean, what are we doing here, really? So anyway,
so Jameis, I personally see Jameis because of the addition of Bruce Arians. Okay, I see the maturation process happening. Finally, everybody finally sees the maturation process because Bruce makes you responsible for
He's
your own
out there.
shit.
He knows. No question.
You know, it's as simple as that.
No
He
question.
makes sure you know. And I think Bruce Arians has always been really good at coaching to the strengths of his quarterbacks.
Yeah, well, he's a quarterback coach in that sense.
Exactly.
I mean,
but to the strengths.
Yeah, for sure.
He maximizes the strengths in your talents.
Yeah, well, Godwin had a huge week last week.
Huge.
So they've got the weapons, they got the talent. Although, again, the Saints, I think, are going to come out defensively and play really hard today.
Their defense is the only thing that's really kept them in the last couple of games, and I think that what the situation is that the defense gets exposed today because Dallas has blatant weapons that if you key on them, you can slow them down. Stop the run.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's basically Cooper and Elliott.
Yeah,
and then
stop the run and double Cooper. Let the tight ends catch balls all over the place.
Yeah.
But stop Cooper, stop Elliott, stop the run and double Cooper and take your chances.
Right.
Okay, well, they can't do that with Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay, if you check, I saw a percentage sheet. They spread the ball out more than everybody else. I don't think anybody has. I think it's Chris Godwin actually that has the highest percentage of touches.
I have to look and see.
I think it's Chris Godwin. I really do. I think it more so than Mike Evans.
Yeah, they don't. There's certain formations, 11, 12, 21, 22, 23. It's the packages they run.
Right.
They do spread the ball quite a bit.
Very well.
Austin Hooper's been on the map, too, the last few weeks. He's been part of the offense. So
Onto the Falcons.
Yeah. Falcons.
Or just tight ends.
Yeah, just tight ends in general. Just in terms of just teams are just using the tight ends more. O.J. Howard is what I meant to say for Tampa.
Right, and Cameron Brate.
6 targets last week. I think Brate had 2 or 3 targets. So tight ends part of the offense. But with Evans and Godwin, I mean, those guys are ones, and they make plays. So, well, curious to see what Jameis does today in New Orleans. Should be a good game.
They even got they've got a Bobo. The Bobo, was it Bobo Williams or whatever it is? He's Jameis's bestie from Florida State.
Yeah.
I remember Bobo from college. He was a WR4 in college. He's a WR4 in the pros.
But you know what though? He's
that's
probably his
Jameis's
shadow.
boy.
There you go. He's probably the guy that keeps him in line too.
That's JW's boy.
Yeah.
And that's fine. He contributes, but he's a Bobo though.
One of the other big games that we can talk about before we get to break is the Packers and Cowboys this week.
Well, let's see. Okay, you have Tyron Smith, left tackle. He is out. He is out injured.
This I will tell you. The Green Bay, their run defense, 26th in yards, 29th in yards per attempt.
And that was before Clay Matthews broke his jaw.
Yeah, 4 weeks he's out. So, Elliott,
Shootout?
maybe not. Maybe Detroit. Maybe Dallas wants to control they should be
Blowout?
able to game script because Elliott, and a few deep shots to Cooper. I just don't see how Green Bay can keep up, especially no Adams. Now, careful. Just because a guy is not playing like an Adams guy, people think like an MVS, Marquez Valdez-Scantling,
Right,
or Geronimo Allison. Guys that haven't really been on the map before don't automatically put them on the map now because there's an opening.
but they did raise the level of their game last year.
They did, and they're decent players.
When Adams was out for 3 games last year.
But I will say this, that Green Bay still doesn't run the ball effectively. And without a true number one on the outside, and I can't call MVS or Geronimo a true number one, and Dallas's defense, and the fact that Dallas should be able to control the ball with game script and Elliott, I just don't see how Green Bay is in an advantageous spot here in this game. To me, I think
so. Green Bay 37, Dallas 17. Is that what it is?
No, Dallas.
I know. I'm saying.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying so. No. Logically, it should be 34-14. Okay, logically, but lately here in the NFL in the first month, it's you watch. It's going to be Green Bay 37-17, some shit like that. But logically. Yeah. 34-14. Yeah, definitely. I see Dallas by a lot controlling the game.
I do too. I mean, they should be able to because, like I said, Green Bay just can't stop the run. So,
and they're missing Clay Matthews now,
and they're going up against the best offensive line in football.
Even without Tyron Smith,
maybe the top 3 now, but they're still good. I mean, come on, they're still good.
Tyron is the size of a fucking tractor trailer.
He's a big man.
That dude is 6'7", 360 pounds, and he does not look fat.
Can we pick on the Browns before we go to break real quick?
Okay. Here's your weekly roast the Browns. Roast them Browns. Get them.
368 is the number. You know what that number is? Penalty yards this year for them.
Wait, I forgot to push the button. Okay, penalty yards for them?
Yeah, 368 yards for them this year. Second in the league. Very undisciplined. Rookie coach. They also are third most in terms of pre-snap penalties, delay of games and motion and stuff like that. You know what this tells me? This tells me that offense and that quarterback and that coach are just not on the same page. Now, you can blame the quarterback, you can blame his indecisiveness, his whatever.
Uniforms are ugly.
The rookie coach and Beckham, the distractions, whatever.
Fans are a bunch of drunks.
Although I will say this about Beckham, you don't hear him. He's not catching that many passes this year. He's not getting in the end zone as much, but yet you haven't heard him. So maybe
he likes winning.
Maybe there's maturity there. So anyway, my point is that the Browns have got to right the ship, because when they start playing better teams or when they go up against better teams, they can't have that many penalties. They can't continue to shoot themselves in the foot with a bad offensive line, with some of the things that we mentioned, and still be successful. So it's just something to watch, the undisciplined nature of the Browns and the undoing of that franchise, I think, as the year goes on. So we'll see.
You know when you're going to hear from Junior? When the Giants have more wins than the Browns.
Wow.
Then you're going to hear from Junior. Because so far, right now, guys like Landry and Odell, they're happy that they left their situations. Okay, I mean, I'm sure Landry reads every day about how, the Dolphins have bottomed out, and he's like, whew. And he was the original guy that came out and said, "Oh, he thought he was trading me here to go send me there to die." All right, and you notice Odell brought that out this year too. At the beginning of this year, oh, they thought they were sending me to Cleveland to die. Stop it, stop. I don't know if you guys have the same agent, but you need to tell that agent to come up with some new shit. Okay, new material. Let me use my Donnie hands. You need to come up with new material. Excuse me. All right, so we'll put them to rest. That's it. Let's take a break. Let's go check out the injury report. You have a stack of Guru papers to go through.
Yeah, the Guru came in through some guys that were expected to play potential.
Can you read that handwriting?
Yeah.
The hieroglyphics?
Yeah.
The Sanskrit?
Yeah.
Okay. Did he use pictures? Did he use emojis?
One of these pages is sticky. I don't know why.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna take an extra long break. We're gonna leave you with a sports classic. I mean a sports classic. For those of you that don't remember The Longest Yard, you're really gonna love this. We'll be back with more Gonzo Radio Sports Desk right after this.
Quiet down. All right, now listen to me. We're going to let Bodansky come right through. Nobody touch that big mother. You got it? I want to try something. Now, if it works, everybody hit him. Right? Right! Split right, all curl on one. Ready? Right! Right left! Blue! 69! Blue! 69! Set!
Ball goes back in the pass. Bodansky is playing. Correctly, Bodansky's throwing. Unraveling the tangle now, and there is a penalty of 15 yards against the mean machine for unnecessary roughness, and that pass sure didn't look like it was an accident. Bodansky is staggering, but he is up. He is up and on his feet.
Okay, we got 15. Huddle up on the ball. Come on, let's huddle up. Huddle up. Unbelievable. Hey, Bog, come on, get yourself out of here. Come on.
I know what I'm doing. Worked once. Ought to work again, right? All right. One more time. On two. Ready?
It's 3rd and 32 for the mean machine.
Hey.
Four. Oh.
Set.
Ball goes back to clean passes. Ball hits Bodansky with the ball right in the nether region. Once again, Bodansky is on the mean machine journey.
He's not breathing.
Well, do something, man. Try mouth to mouth.
You want to?
No way.
Gonzo Radio. Hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the Gonzo Radio Sports Desk. Yeah, that was a real long break, and we actually had enough time to get our collective doo-doo together. We were like, all right, let's do the couple of Gardner Minshew memes and then throw them in there. And Minshew actually came up in the break. Actually, a Gardner Minshew-related query from Ms. Iris Donitz from Plantation, Florida. And she asks, who you got in the Jags and the Panthers? Who you got? That was verbatim. That was right here. Who you got? Jags versus the Panthers. And for me, give me them Jags. I likes them Jags.
Yeah.
I
don't know. The Panthers, they should be able to, I don't know, say contain McCaffrey today, but McCaffrey probably won't run wild like he's done the last few weeks. Jags can play a little bit defense. But also, I don't think Minshew is going to have a lot of success against Carolina's defense either. So,
you shut your dirty pirate whore mouth. Fear the mustache. Fear.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think he kind of comes back to earth a little bit. And typically, what you see with Carolina at this time of year after 4 or 5, everybody guesses on them the first few weeks.
Mustache.
They're supposed to be good. They're not that good. And Carolina, usually by this time of year, week 6, they go on a little bit of a run and kind of reestablish themselves in that division. And you're like, oh, here comes Carolina. We'll see. I don't like the game, but if I'm forced to pick, it's probably going to be Carolina in that game.
My microphone has a mustache.
Yes.
Fear the mustache.
I'm trying to furiously read through these props real quick here.
Okay, well, you read through those props. What I see is a young man going on the road, and we're talking about a brash playmaker who DJAF. He just does not care. He doesn't care where he's playing, who he's playing, or what. I mean, he has no reason to have a fear factor.
Okay.
He had no fear factor in the Pac-12. Oh, we're playing USC in the Coliseum. Beat them.
Yeah.
Playing Washington. Ooh, they're tough. Beat them. Playing Cal. Ooh, they're tough. Beat them. Who else you got that's tough? Beat them.
Yeah. Well, he's clearly outshined where they thought he was going to be at this point.
5th round draft choice.
Yeah, it's incredible.
It's the reason why I tell everybody's like, oh, we got to get this guy in the first round, get this guy in the first round. I just, don't get me started about first round quarterbacks. That's the reason why I don't want the Dolphins to draft one in the first round. I really don't. But so I like the Jags. I like the Jags to go in and squeak one out. What was the line again? Do you know what the line on that game was?
Carolina is tough at home, though. That's the only thing.
I understand that.
Yeah, let's see the line. I think it was like 3, or 3.5.
3.5?
Let's see.
Carolina minus 3.5? Ooh, that's good money. That's good points. I like that, considering I like the Jags to win by 1 to 4. I like them to pull it out.
I'm trying to get there. Carolina, 3.
3.
And that basically means, the home team typically gets those 3 points.
Yeah.
So they're looking at these two teams as being even, essentially. Right. And I don't know. I don't know.
When I have that outright win feeling, okay, when I have 3 points is huge. When I have that outright win feeling.
Here's what I do look is interesting. The over-under that game is only 40.5, like I said. I think it's going to lean towards the under.
Under, yeah. I see 16 to 14.
Ugly. Well, if that's the case, then you got to be pro Jacksonville.
16 to 14.
Probably a lower scoring type game for sure. Yeah, with that being a low total like that. 40.5 is a low total.
16 to 14 with how about this one? 16 to 14 with the Jags defense getting a score.
Wow, you're going on a limb there, huh? That's pretty good.
Well, listen, Allen has been the third-year pro, who's now the starting quarterback for was it Jason Allen, Jared Allen, Jared Allen, millennial name. Jared Allen is due to come back to earth. Now people have more tape on him. He is no longer surprising people. I would definitely not expect him to surprise, especially a defensive powerhouse like the Jacksonville Jaguars. Agreed. They're gonna have something for him.
Yeah, agree.
Okay, whether it's they double up on McCaffrey, they have a linebacker that pays attention to him at all times, and a safety that backs that up, that contain him, and they're going to make Allen throw it down the field. And even without Jalen Ramsey, they've got the horses to single cover their slot and their wide out. So I see a Jacksonville win, 16-14, 17-16. It's going to be a low scoring. Take the under. take the points, run for your life.
Yeah.
Do that, Iris. So there.
Iris, I got more for you.
Oh, more.
Since you're wondering about apparently sides and games and totals, perhaps there's
Mustache.
is there a Bodog account maybe in that she has on
A Bodog account.
Bodog account? Okay. I'm not bragging or anything like that. Last week I went 2-2 in my picks. 11-5 so far on the season. That's pretty
So
good.
far, not
That's pretty
bad.
good. 11-5 is pretty
You're
good.
doing all right.
I'm ready for some props to throw some stuff out there if you guys want to
Well,
talk
we're
about
not going to do the we're not going to do the fantasy, the DFS
Oh, we're doing that
report.
too. Yeah, we're doing it all.
Well, which one do you want to do first?
No, you pick. I'm excited
Oh
because I
my
got the
God.
props ready. You know, because Iris was talking about the game, so now I'm on props, and I'm thinking about getting people some money in their pockets.
All right. Since you're already prepared with your proposition bets,
Yes.
Grace us with them, if you will.
I will. They're all receiver yards, running yards. Those are the prop bets. Quick explanation. I target players, okay? It's very difficult in the NFL to determine game totals and sides and who's going to win with the spreads.
Right.
But what I've narrowed in on has been able to focus on player performance, and I've been really good at it. So here's some more player performances for today that I think are going to exceed expectations from Vegas. One of them is David Montgomery is at 60.5 rushing yards today. I like it. I'm going over.
Well, he has Chase Daniel now as his quarterback.
I just think that they'll be able to game script that game a little bit. Should be a little bit more of a defensive battle. And I just think that no matter how that plays out, Chicago takes the lead. They've got, whatever. They're behind a few points. However it is, Montgomery's still going to be a major part of the offense.
Did you notice when Chase Daniel came in that the offense stayed more on schedule? The offense, Chase Daniel is about what, 8th year, 7th year pro.
He's been a while.
He
yeah.
knows what he can do. He knows his capabilities, and he knows to run through the progressions and throw the fucking football where it's supposed to go.
Yeah. Well, you know what it is too.
No ego like Trubisky does.
I'm not a Trubisky
Or
guy.
indecision.
There's
I know.
There's a
No,
lot of
I'm
issues there.
illustrating your points.
Yeah, there's issues there with the quarterback position. So maybe this. I'm not saying Chase Daniels is the answer, but when we talked about before about some teams that are looking for quarterbacks next year, I think you may put Chicago in there.
Get out of here.
I'm telling you.
They coughed up 2 first-rounders to get this dingbat. They're
I
going to go
know.
all the way out through his rookie contract, which still has 2 more seasons after this one.
It would make sense then that they at least grab somebody in the later rounds just to have somebody there. Because now, unless Chase Daniels becomes the best all-time backup quarterback. All right,
He's a fine backup.
All right, Christian Kirk today for Arizona is not playing.
He is out.
And I said this last week. Eventually, Kyler Murray's going to have one of these games where we're like, "Oh yeah, we knew he was going to be this good."
Well, he's going to have to throw the ball 15 times to Larry Fitzgerald.
Which, as leading me to my prop, he's only at 69.5 receiving yards today, Fitzgerald. So we're going over on that one too.
Wow, really? But that's kind of a high total. But really,
69 yards. Now he's a volume guy. So if you think
Yeah.
he's going to get his 10, 12 targets, which he should get,
15.
he catches 7 or 8 of those balls, he'll get to 70 or 80 yards. I mean, that's typically what his line has been. He's been 770 and then the occasional score. So
Jump on that prop.
I'll take it. Deshaun Watson today. Again, I think this game goes over the total. It shoots out a little bit. I've got him
good.
22.5 completions.
He good. I told you he good.
If the total shoots out, that means they're throwing the football. Fuller's back today. That's going to help that offense a little bit. I think he goes over 22.5 completions.
Okay.
I could see 25, a 35 for 3 and change and maybe 2 scores. So we'll see. And the last
Which is also
one,
good info for fantasy.
Oh, it's huge. And the last one is last week was a little bit of a coming out party for Chris Godwin. Blew it up last week. But 2 touchdowns.
Although we were expecting this.
I had him in my daily and also in my season long. But his receiver catch total today is only 5.5 catches. I can
take that over.
especially since they're going to be focused on Evans today a little bit more.
6, 7 catches.
Yeah. So again,
Easily.
just a quick recap. I got Montgomery over 60.5 yards. I got Fitzgerald over 69.5 yards receiving. Deshaun Watson over 22.5 completions.
Okay.
And Chris Godwin at 5.5 catches over.
Over. Everything over.
That's what
Take
I'm
all the
targeting.
overs.
I'm targeting the overs.
You
Yeah.
get all the low balls today.
Yeah, going over on those totals. So.
We have a report that's in
1 o'clock inactives.
1 o'clock inactives. Fresh inactives for you. Breaking news.
Just going to read it to you.
All right, man.
Sam Darnold, we knew. Deshaun Jackson, we knew. Christian Kirk, we just mentioned.
The clap.
A.J. Green, not back yet. Cam Newton, still out. Kenny Stills, Dante Moncrief.
Syphilis. No, the sniffles, the flu, what?
And then there's potentially Barkley could play Thursday versus the Pats. Apparently, I saw some tape on him running around making cuts. That's what we have in terms of the inactives today, official inactives. Thank you,
Your
Russ.
big inactives for you there, which is good. That's good news for us because we move on to DFS today.
Yes, let's do some
DFS, daily fantasy sports, daily fantasy football, actually.
Yeah.
And you have some fine choices here. We have logged in a roster.
Yes.
On DraftKings.
Yeah, and I would say officially to this point, if we were doing wins and losses, I don't want to show how much money we're probably about 2-2 this so far in fantasy.
Yeah,
2 weeks plus, 2 weeks minus. The first week is included in that. It was brutal.
Well, the only money that we've managed to lose is what I've managed to lose.
Okay,
which
Good.
is over 4 weeks I've managed to lose us $15.
Okay, well,
and that was one erroneous $5 bet. So.
Again, what I've always said about this approach to DFS is it's a grind. You're not looking to go for the home run every day because you'll be out of money. It's 2 steps ahead, 1 step back, and occasionally it's 3 steps back.
53% success is 3% success.
It is, but we got to be a little better than that. I think we will be. So this week we're targeting some players in DFS that I really, really like. And
really like. Oh, yeah. I mean, we kind of touched on them with the quarterback for our DFS today.
Yeah, DFS for today. You want to just read through who we got today?
Yeah, because I've got your I've got your graphic up right now for your first 3 names.
Very
so
nice.
I'm a producer, damn it.
Quarterback today, we're going Deshaun Watson at home again. That
Mr.
total,
Deshaun Watson.
I think the total is 49.5. It was at 50.5. I think as high as 51. It's coming down a bit. That doesn't scare me.
That's Randy Watson's nephew.
Maybe. I'm not sure.
I believe the children are our future. Go ahead.
We'll have to do an Ancestry.com on
right.
that. My point, what we're looking at here is Deshaun Watson today is a big game.
Right.
And
the
of
running
course,
backs.
I've got Hopkins, though, in there as well. I know I'm skipping it, but I've got the pair. So I got Hopkins and Watson. Big day.
We'll get there. You have
running
more than
backs.
a pair.
David Montgomery, who I mentioned, is one of my prop bets today.
Right.
And James Conner. Again, now, people are afraid of this Baltimore defense, and I actually said they were good a few weeks back.
Get to the chopper.
They're getting torched, running and passing. So,
yeah.
I think you're going to see same sort of game script you saw last week with the Steelers and Mason Rudolph. A lot of quick passes. PPR formats today, James Conner's a must start. He easily could have 6 or 7 catches.
Right. Well, and listen, with Baltimore, what you're seeing is teams are getting off big plays on them.
Yeah.
They're losing chunk plays. I mean, if you're running the ball on 1st and 10, they're going to stop you for a 1-yard loss or a 1-yard gain. They're tough. And in predictable situations. But what you're seeing is offenses are gaming them a little bit. Yeah. They're getting the running back. They're getting the linebackers to go one way and then throwing it the other. Yeah. Things like that. You get them on their heels a little bit. They can be had. Unless you're the Miami Dolphins.
I will say this though. Typically, that Steeler-Baltimore matchup is a bruiser. Steelers are 16-3 since 2013 at home against the division.
Yeah, I need to wear a helmet during that game.
It's a bruiser game, but again, you got 2 quarterbacks that haven't been a part of this. Okay, you got new blood, sort of.
Right.
You got new players on both sides. So again, rivalry, yes. Tough divisional game, yes. But I do think you may see some points in that game today.
Right on. Onto the main body of the.
We paid up for receivers today, both in the same game. Julio and DeAndre, like I mentioned.
Right.
I think I want to see both those guys go.
But you have the
today.
Houston triple stack.
Well, I got. I've got Will Fuller as well.
You have the double stack of Hopkins and Watson, but then you add the extra cheese of Will Fuller.
Yeah, because
Will Fuller the 5th, by the way.
Houston
There's
has
5 of them.
I know, it's insane. Houston hasn't been running the ball this year, and again, that's no surprise. And they're off, and part of it is because the offensive line has been not very good.
But Carlos Hyde's pretty good.
He's been in spots; he's helped them, but I still think it's still throw both sides.
Right.
And I still think there's points in that game, so I loaded up on the receivers on both sides. I got Fuller and Hopkins, and I got Jones. Tight end, I don't know how I have him, but I do. I got Eifert today.
Tyler the Tight.
Oh, my God. At least he's playing. He's normally
Tyler
hurt.
the Tight End Tiger.
He hasn't been great. The Bengals are not great. The offensive line is terrible.
He had a pretty good game last week. The only problem is that they had to go away from him. They started having to chuck it down the field instead of the outlet pass.
The only one I'm resting on here is the Arizona is the worst against tight ends. They've given up the most yards, the most receptions. You got to think Cincinnati is desperate. Somebody has to win this football game. You got 2 teams that haven't won yet. So take the home team. I'm leaning towards Eifert today. He's cheap as hell. It allows us to pay up for the wide receivers.
Well, I've got him in a league game too, so I have faith right there.
Yeah. Wide receiver in the flex position. I got a receiver. I got Alshon Jeffrey going against the Jets, second worst secondary in football. I think Philly gets right this week. Huge spread. I think he gets his. And defense today is the Chargers against Denver at home. Very tough smash mouth game again.
Well,
Denver.
Here's my question in that pick: is Melvin Ingram back?
Melvin Gordon.
Melvin Ingram.
Sorry.
Yes, the linebacker.
Right. I don't know. I haven't checked that and see. But I can tell you this. Either way, the Chargers are at home. They're in a plus spot. Denver's offense is somewhat one-dimensional. Lindsey's been a part of the offense a little bit lately running the football. But I see game script in favor of the Chargers today. And if Denver gets behind and they're forced to be one-dimensional, I think you're going to see a few turnovers today, maybe some sacks.
They are at home at their Division IIA junior college stadium.
Is that really a home game for them? I mean, it's a home game, yes.
It's a game, okay?
Technically,
let me tell you, you know what I think that is? I think that's an NFL experiment in smaller stadiums.
Maybe.
Okay, it's in smaller stadiums because the time is going to come. Okay, listen, attendance has been dwindling for the NFL and all professional sports. Attendance has been dwindling because people would rather sit at home,
enjoy the experience at home,
and watch it at home.
Because it's awesome being home, honestly.
Okay, you can't go to an NBA basketball game and sit in the stands in your boxer shorts and smoke a joint and drink a cheap beer out of a can. Yeah. Okay, you can't do that. You can't. They don't have Cool Ranch Doritos at the AAA. All right, and they don't have pizza delivered to you. You could buy a gigantic 16-inch, 18-inch pizza for what it costs to buy a slice at the AAA. Okay, so the experience has become expensive, and people are able to do it at home.
Do any of the teams like that in L.A. in particular, in California, maybe even down here in South Florida, is there really a true home field advantage because of what you're saying? Because you don't have that full commitment to the team like you do in Pittsburgh or in Green Bay or in even, let's say, Dallas, bigger market city, places where the team is the team when Saturday midnight starts, everybody's looking towards Sunday. It's just a different mentality.
But the cost, even in those cities, the cost of going to a game is becoming prohibitive.
Oh, it's crazy.
Because you don't think that the owners are going to altruistically pass on the savings.
No, why would they?
Okay, they're not going to sacrifice their profit margin.
Yeah, I agree.
If their profit margin is 3%, 4%, and if it means that we have to jack up the price of the tickets $85 each across the board to make my goals next year, then guess what? It's time for a ticket increase. It's time for a raise in the price of beer. It's time for the
foundation for the money in the NFL is through the TV contracts.
Right, but I'm telling you right now, the cost is becoming prohibitive. Yeah, it really is.
I agree. You know what? I don't know.
So they're going to need smaller stadiums.
We'll know this for next week, but in terms of attendance, I'm going to look at that and see where we are with attendance over the last 5 years in the NFL.
Yeah, you take a look at the trend. I'll tell you, it's on the way down. Overall in the league, it's on the way down.
But, when they built Dallas' stadium, for instance, it was the Mecca of Mecca. But here's what you have, though, too, and they're smart, is it's not just football. It's everything else.
Right.
So knowing that that's sort of a stadium.
They have a hotel,
small
a mall.
city.
They have like a hotel, a mall, and an amusement park.
That's what you're going to see, I think. Now, you're saying small stadiums if you're just doing football, but I think you're going to see these larger cities when it's time to re-up in these bigger stadiums, especially when sports gambling becomes legal by then in all these cities. I think that's what you're going to have. You're going to have little cities as stadiums because they're not going to cater just to the football team. They can't.
Right.
Because they're going to be bringing in revenue from 50 other sources in order to manage what they have. And I think it's smart. But in that sense, I think you'll have more of a fan experience because you'll be going there not just for the game itself, but you'll be going there because they got the hotels, the restaurants, the shops, the whatever else that they're offering in terms of, fan packages for the families even. That's what they should be focusing on.
Right.
So we'll see. I think maybe that might be the shift at some point. But
I would love that experience to be able to get up from my hotel room, okay, go downstairs, go to a restaurant or whatever, okay, and then go to the game. Not have to actually go outside. Just go to the game from my. So give me a resort next to the NFL stadium, first of all. Bam. Okay, which I believe is part of the plan in Las Vegas. By the way, I saw that stadium, good size stadium, real neat. They're really going to enclose it. It's shiny. It's just very, very shiny. But that experience, like in Dallas, I believe there's a hotel there, and pretty much you can go there, you can get a hotel room, and you can go to the game, and you don't have to experience outdoors. So the experience is cost prohibitive, but if you got it, go do it, of course. Mm-hmm. But I'm not buying season tickets. I'm not buying season tickets to the Dolphins, whether or not they're a good team or not.
Yeah, it's a
okay. I'm just not, and I used to have club seats for the longest time.
Yeah.
Okay, it has just now gotten to be prohibitive.
Yeah, I understand.
Period.
Yeah.
I have other things that I would like to spend the $4,000 on. I'll buy new rims for my friggin' truck before I'll buy Dolphins season tickets. So, these owners are going to have to eventually start paring down these stadium sizes. It's as simple as that, and it's going to be because of dwindling season ticket sales, dwindling attendance. Simple as that. When your team is good, most people will show up. When your team is bad, nobody is going to show up.
Yeah.
Nobody, period. I don't care what kind of fanatic city. If you get to December 1st and the Packers are 1-9, you're going to see empty seats in Lambeau Stadium. And you're going to see empty seats. You just are. It's a fact of life because who's going to want to come out for it?
I think that was the one team that you probably shouldn't have put in there because they've had their fan base sold out for the last 40 years. So they'll probably still come because they got nothing else to do in Green Bay. But
okay,
your point
Denver?
your point is valid in other cities like New York, Chicago,
LA,
certainly South Florida, California,
LA,
all these other cities there where you have choices. See, that's the thing down here in South Florida. You got choices. You got the beaches. You got beautiful weather. You got this. You got that.
Well, they have the same shit in San Diego. But one thing I've been to San Diego now, and I can tell you the San Diego's got very laid back attitudes. Like, oh yeah, you're a good football team. We'll come check you out eventually. Yeah, I got stuff to do, but I'm good.
So they're going to have to cater more towards not only
laid back,
the fan experience, but also making it possible for the fans to go because it's just too damn expensive. So,
Iris says that she disagrees. Green Bay fans are going out. They will. They'll show up. Okay, so I use Green Bay as a bad example.
Yeah.
Okay, but across the league, these things are happening.
Oh, no question.
It's just happening. So they're going to go with smaller cities.
It's a
smaller
trend.
Stadiums.
It's a trend, and it's a bad one. And you would think that the NFL would be protected because of the shield. Everybody knows the shield and how powerful the NFL is. I think they're losing some of that power. They're losing it to the players.
A little bit.
They're losing it because they're losing viewership. And some
bit.
other factors that we mentioned. So, and it all comes down to the bottom line, like you said. Once the bottom line starts to be affected, that's when things start to change.
Oh yeah.
So,
all right. So what are we closing with here? Because I got to go make my own stupid DFS teams too.
We gave our props. We gave our fantasy. I don't know. We can promote ourselves.
What were these last tidbits that the guru came through? He's been
clearly he believes.
He's been like some sort of strange hermit troll that comes in and throws wisdom on. What do you got?
Clearly, he believes in deforestation because we've just killed 14 trees with all this information that he's brought.
But no, there's stuff on the back.
Oh, there's stuff on the back too.
Yeah,
okay.
he reuses.
Oh, he recycles.
We are nature responsible.
Just more inactives we mentioned: Jordan Reed, Vernon Davis, Terry McLaurin for Washington, Rex Burkhead. We knew
all out.
All out. Edelman is playing. I think we pretty much hit all the rest of them. Juju's playing. Saquon coming back on Thursday potentially.
Yay. I told you he's a freak. I told you he wouldn't be out a month.
Yeah, I think that's about it. Pretty much we covered. So
okay,
we should be in good shape. Good luck to everybody today on their teams, and on their fantasy, on their other endeavors. I think
and props
and props,
property
for sure.
props.
11-5. I hope to go 3-1 today. In the least.
Outstanding.
Keep it going.
All right. Well, for those of you who stuck with us and hung around and did this live with us from here to Israel to Plantation to where's Carl from anyway? Where's Carl? I'm trying to shout out. Carl, where are you from? Where is Carl Wright from?
He's in North Florida right now, I think.
North Florida.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we didn't mean to say anything bad about North Florida before.
Yeah,
Tallahassee's a pit.
Miss you, buddy.
But the Maz misses you. All right, and once again, shout out to everybody who's hanging with us, 7-8 of you in the chat room, and however 15-20 of you that are out there secretly watching but not participating. Thank you very much for watching. And as you see, the live version of this is much more useful than the podcast version. I will be podcasting just for posterity's sake because we want proof that we're right all the time. So we will see you guys again next Sunday, 11 a.m. sharp. And, hey, by the way, the shout-out for HT Mole. We're hot in Israel, dude. We're hot.
I'm ready.
Make sure you tell everybody in Israel, hey, you want American football info, let everybody know.
Road trip.
Yeah, I've known Harry H.D. Mole. I've known him for forever,
Road
more than half my life. Oh my God!
Is he lives in Israel? Has he always lived in Israel?
Yeah,
he's lived here.
Been
obviously.
living in Israel for a while now.
Okay.
He used to live over here.
Working
of course,
over there?
He was like one of my best friends over here. He's still
Okay.
one of my best friends, but
Cool.
he lives over there now.
Cool.
So yeah. Oh, Jacksonville. Oh, he lives in. Oh, you're fine.
Yeah,
we
Jacksonville.
thought you lived in Tallahassee. You actually live in a okay town.
Jacksonville.
Yeah, Jacksonville's fucking huge. Yeah. Okay, well then, good luck everybody today. Thank you very, very much for watching. I'm trying to get out of here so I can go do my own damn DFS. I'm Big Daddy Gonzo. That's the Maz. Maz, say goodbye to the nice people.
Goodbye, nice people.
We'll catch you guys later. Peace
Out.